Hello guys, it's Wojtek Deregowski here. Today I'm gonna show you a very interesting concept of practicing the bass drum that will allow you to develop very quickly and efficiently. Wait a minute. Oh, that's better. So, a lot of times I see drummers practicing the bass drum like this, without their sticks, sitting behind the kit, arms crossed. Which is obviously not a good way to practice the bass drum, because we don't have our hands engaged at all, and the position behind the kit gets ruined very quickly. So what we need to do is to actually use our hands. And here's the question: what is the most frequently used part of drumming, and very, very generally? I think it's for sure not fills, it's not improvisation, I think it's groove, because that's what we usually play when playing music, right? So my advice is to set the bass drum part within a groove. That is quite simple. So 8 notes on the hi-hat and 2 and 4 on the snare. Depending on what you need to improve with the bass drum, you build the groove by yourself. In this lesson, I'm going to focus on one specific example that contains a lot of double strokes, so it's great for developing them. Later on, I'm going to show you some more examples. I'm going to break down the groove by increasing the difficulty of the bass drum part. So it's great for all levels: beginners, intermediate, and advanced. Check out the very basic form of the groove. Remember to make the bass drum strokes very repetitive and consistent in terms of the sound, dynamics, and power. Also, be very precise about the placement of certain notes. Okay, let's add some double bass drum strokes and increase the level of the whole groove. Hey, all the exercises that I cover in this lesson come from my course especially made for the bass drum. So I cover a lot of technical stuff there. Setting up the pedal, all the motions, and also I give you a lot of exercises like this. So you make sure check it out in this link. It's my website and you may find the course in there. It's called the Complete Single Bass Drum Workout. No matter the technique you use, a great tip that I always give is to keep the foot flexible in the ankle, right? So here you want to move your foot, right? Sometimes drummers are very tight in here and they don't move their ankle at all, their foot at all in the ankle, right? This will give you a lot more control over the strokes and it will affect the motion and yet the sound. The final version of the groove is pretty busy in terms of the double bass drum strokes. Take a look. As you hear, in the second part of the groove, we repeat the double bass drum strokes with just one note in between, right? So we have and this way, you may create another exercise that is very challenging. Take a look. Right here I looped the double bass drum strokes with just one note in between. Okay, but kick, snare and hat are not the only instruments that we have in the kit. Let's try to use the others, but in a very creative way. Let's stick to the same bass drum part, or more or less the same bass drum part, and let's improvise the hands part. Of course, the improvisation doesn't have to be very special or extremely musical, but let's try to get creative and have fun. Here's my take on the improvised exercise. So as you can see, it's a great way to make the exercise even more fun and creative. This way you develop a lot of different areas of drumming, not only the bass drum and technique and the groove, but also moving around the kit, improvisation, creativity, sounds of different instruments, dynamic levels of different instruments, a whole bunch of other stuff. The groove I just presented is great for double bass drum strokes, since we have a lot of them in there, but you may think of different grooves. For example, take a look at this one. It's in 6/8, and you may practice precision of strokes, of the bass drum strokes coming together with the snare. Take a look at that. Right? We don't want to have flams in there. We don't want to have this. We want to perfectly overlay these notes together. In another groove example, we have a subdivision change with the bass drum, so we have triplets and 16th notes. Also, we have a multiple stroke in there. You will notice. The last groove with a complicated bass drum that I would like to show you contains a lot of multiple strokes, all played in 16th notes. Take a look. Of course, the method of placing problematic stuff into a groove works perfectly not only for the bass drum. Let's say you have a problem with ghost notes. You feel that it's not quite there yet, right? So you take the problematic ghost notes and place them into a groove, and you loop it. For example, like this. But the key factor in this method is to diagnose problems. A great way to do that is to record yourself practicing. Then listen back to it and notice where is the problem. Recording will show you very clearly, and this way you may become your own teacher. So another example, let's say you have problems with coordinating limbs in some linear patterns. So you take this pattern and build a groove out of it, just like this. So it's a fantastic practical and musical way to work on different parts of drumming, not only the bass drum. So once again, you take the problematic stuff, you place it into a groove, you multiply it and loop it. And of course, work your ass off in different tempos, etc. With this optimistic accent, I think we may end this lesson. I really hope that you liked it and that you find this concept useful. So, of course, remember to work hard, to always stay focused on your goals, and most of all, keep yourself passionate and have fun from playing drums, because drums is always just about fun, right? Thanks so much, have a good day and take care.